And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. This is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture twice a week, every week, wherever you get your podcasts, on the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, right there for you on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and radio stations around the world. We hit up as far as our thoughts on Fantastic Four scoring well at the box office, right around the range of Superman. San Diego Comic-Con brought some of the news there that made news. And Happy Gilmore 2, we have our reviews. Josh Peterson and I, right there for you on the Pop Culture Cosmos. Plus also as well, of course, Joe Soro, the Joe Soro channel. Go ahead and catch him there with the Dodgers Fast Pitch, and also as well the Joe Soro Experiment. Of course, you can also find him at the Joe Soro Experiment on Playback, and of course also as well our good friends, including Stone Hansen at Report_Court. Also as well, of course, don't forget Legend from I Got Next Sports Media, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, at Alfred Esmond on Twitter. Don't forget, of course, Empire Jeff TV, of course, covering the Lakers and Dodgers, and of course, our good friends, the Lakerholics, Lakerholics.com. Oh boy, Laker Tom. He's already been trading LeBron right and left. So that's Laker Tom there for you. Plus, he's got an interesting article that he posted the other day at Lakerholics.com. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, it's right there for you. The guys do appreciate coming by across the weekend. So there you go. Lakerholics.com and Laker Tom, you'll see his latest article, Why Rob Pelinka Has the Lakers Perfectly Positioned for a Championship Run. Not my words, they're his. So go ahead and make sure you give him a like right there at Lakerholics.com. Plus, also, as well, don't forget, we are here when you can. And if you can, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Please subscribe today to get the latest notifications on, of course, our latest Lakers Fast Break. Like, subscribe, do all that great fun stuff. But make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. Become a member today for just $2.99 a month. Some good things I gave my members ahead of time. Of course, right there, my thoughts, the latest Fantastic Four movie, and also as well Superman. You got to hear my thoughts first, right there for you if you're a member today at just $2.99 right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. What's up, Trevon? Hopefully all is well with you. It is, of course, a Monday right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And Monday morning, you just deal with the stuff, just starting out your week, getting everything, going through your notes, going through your emails, going through your paperwork, etc., as you start the work week. And lo and behold, I didn't even know this, but I am on the, email list for Hearst Publications. Oh boy. And why does that mean anything to you guys out there? Well, I got the entire blitz in regards to the Men's Health digital photo cover spread of their monthly magazine. And who shall be on this month's cover? None other than the guy who's back in the United States, in New York right now, I think. It is, of course, Luka Doncic. What's up, Luke? How you doing? Hopefully you're okay as well. Truly appreciate you joining us. Luka Doncic is on the cover of Men's Health, also providing an interview because of his transformation this offseason, going into what was the diet? I think the diet was a gluten-free, low-sugar, intermittent fasting diet, plus heavy workouts involved as well. He didn't do basketball. He didn't touch basketball for a month. He basically worked on his body nonstop for a month, and look at the transformation. Indeed, all of you have seen it on either Twitter or Yahoo or Google, wherever, you've probably been catching it because it's all over that place out there. Everybody's been talking about it today. What things that we've been saying over the course of the past few weeks. If you've been watching this show, we've already told you all this, that if he was right there next to a fan, he'd go ahead and do a selfie. You could already see the transformation taking place. But inside this Men's Health interview, which is their cover story, he goes into detail about the kind of work he's been doing this offseason. So Luka's excited for this season. Luka has the centerfold, Dean, I guess. Again, Men's Health, it's right there for you if you want to go ahead, or if you want to rush out to your newsstands, I'm sure he'll be there waiting for you as far as that's concerned. But my bigger concern is, as what everybody is talking about, the reaction. ESPN and other outlets have been talking nonstop about, look at Luka's transformation. And what is this going to mean for the Lakers? What is this going to mean for him this upcoming season? A lot of people already have him earmarked without seeing him play yet. They're already got him earmarked for an MVP-like run or an MVP level run, something which we've already talked about ad nauseum on the show, which we're always happy to talk about when it's something good right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And this definitely is something good. Lloyd Avenue says, how does him losing weight help his defense? That's a good question. I don't know if it will help his defense. Again, defense for him is going to be a matter of commitment. During the regular season, I think you'll still be asking that, Lloyd, but offensively, it's still going to mean a lot more. Maybe it'll lead to more accuracy, more efficiency. Maybe it will lead to a situation where you have in the playoffs Luka dominating on the offensive end. Then, Lloyd, your questions will be answered with Luka hopefully primed for a run. But will that be the case? Because if he is an MVP and quiets the comments of Lloyd because he's just worried and focused on one side of the ball and not the preeminent side of what Luka can do for you, what happens then with the Lakers? Are they primed along with him? Because remember the comments that JJ threw as an aside, as the Lakers had already been eliminated from the NBA playoffs against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and talked about this team being in quote unquote championship shape. I think he was targeting Luka with those comments. And if Luka did take it to heart, well, you see what you have there as far as championship shape. The question then becomes, if Luka is going all out to provide himself the best opportunity to succeed this season, is the Lakers and are the Lakers doing the same thing to also get in championship shape? That's the question which we'll ponder tonight. I think Magic Man and Joe said they were going to hop on here in a few minutes. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Truly appreciate you stopping by. Again, defense, a lot of times, it's a matter of effort and will, and I'm not going to sit here and defend his defense. We will have to see how it plays out through the season, but I'm more interested in how he plays defense in the playoffs. Will he take it another step further? He did play defense hard in those first couple games before he got injured, and then you saw it tail off from there. I'm not going to kid you wrong. We saw that effort wane because maybe he just obviously was not in the best of shape as well. But excuses are got to be put aside. They lost it. The Lakers absolutely lost that series due to many mistakes. But now seeing Luka in prime condition, being on the cover of Men's Health, listening to his interview, again, this is all a PR thing, timed perfectly for him, landing in New York, being part of the Jordan tour there with the Jordan brand tour that he's doing in New York, Chicago, LA. This is all timed. I get it. I know it. I understand it. I got the press release today sent to my email. I told you that. But it is Luka in a prime condition. So I asked Joe Sorrell, who is here now, and Joe Sorrell, again, go ahead and make sure you check out him, Joe Sorrell on YouTube, also as well, the Joe Sorrell Experiment channel on Playback, also, of course, Corrupt on Steam, and, of course, his company, Simblades, SimbladesWithY.com. He is here now. Joe, you have seen the pictures. You kind of already saw the pictures already when he took photos with fans across social media over the past couple of months. And we already knew that he was in great shape. But this is just a validation. It seems like everybody else, as they say in the wrestling business, is smartening up to what we've known already about Luka Doncic being in quote unquote, to use the JJ Redick term, championship shape. Before we get into my other part of this question in regards to the team, let's get into the individual himself. How does it make you confident or more, inspired by what you may see from Luka this upcoming season, seeing how seriously he is taking this as far as his conditioning and his body transformation this offseason?
Yeah, Luka's going to play well, heavy or light, but playing light is going to give him longevity and less wear on his calf, which seems to be the theme this last few years on a lot of these players tearing their Achilles and having season-long injuries. I would have waited. I would have waited till media day to show the goods.
Tickets to the gun show.
Yeah, I think that would have been, in my view, that would have been more dramatic, more impactful. Think Daniel Day-Lewis. You don't really see Daniel Day-Lewis when he was acting. You didn't see Daniel Day-Lewis prancing and dancing all over the place. You'd see him in spurts, but ultimately you'd see him on screen. And it brought people to the theater when they found out he was going to be in a movie. To me, I prefer that way. Denzel talks about that a lot. I think he told, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The guy in Creed, who just was in Sinners. What's his name?
Oh, Michael B. Jordan.
So he told Michael B. Jordan, he said, don't stay off social media. Make them want to come see you at the theater. If they see you for free on TV, then there's no point in going to the theater. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he told them. And I agree with that. I think Luka's a movie star. And as far as his skill set is concerned, he is one of probably three of the best basketball players on the planet, between him, Jokic, and at this point, SGA. So why wouldn't he come into shape? Why wouldn't he have an axe to grind? Why wouldn't he have a chip on his shoulder? All of the popular cliches that you could say about him right now based off of what Dallas did to him.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this.
Uh-huh.
If you have a healthy Luka, I don't care at what weight, you are going to be in trouble. So, as the opponent. So, if Luka gets those 75 games this year and the Lakers are a 1 seed, because history says the only time these a-holes give MVPs to the Lakers players is when they're the 1 seed. But if the Lakers end up being a 1 or even a 2 seed, I'd give them a 2 seed as well. Then it's very likely that Luka's probably winning MVP.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Sorrell along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. I am encouraged, though, Joe, because seeing him with this shredded physique, per se, ripped, ready to go, whatever vernaculars you want to use, he looks in phenomenal shape. I've never seen him in this kind of shape before, which is great for Lakers fans as he gets into his prime. He is now entering the prime of his career. And what a better way to go and approach it, Joe, because he's heard the complaints over the years with Dallas and coming to LA, getting a fresh start, on the verge of accepting an extension with the Lakers, eschewing the fact that he's going to be shorted the money, $100 million plus, that he could have gotten more from Dallas, eschewing the fact that he could even sign next year for more money. He is ready to win and win now. But the question is, JJ dropped that championship shape comment in true LeBron James passive aggressive fashion, meant for him, in my opinion. Now, with that said, we've talked about all offseason long about Rob Pelinka, and mind you, you go to Lakerholics.com right now, and I said earlier that Laker Tom has an article that says Rob Pelinka has the Lakers perfectly positioned for a championship run. You can say yes on that, you can say no on that, but the question is, as Magic Man Sean Grice joins us, and I'll get to him in a second, are the Lakers, in your opinion, Joe, in championship shape themselves if Luka is?
I wouldn't use the term perfectly set. There's
No, but Laker Tom did, so that's part of the problem.
Laker Tom needs to. We've said this a few times. Needs to get off the lettuce because it's
seriously.
Look, this is a little bit of seriousness. I've been around potheads in my time, and they're all scrambled. They're all scrambled. Doesn't matter how old they are, how young they are, women, men, old.
I live in Las Vegas. I drive by the billboards every day.
At some point, that stuff is gonna seep in the more you smoke it.
No. Look, I mean, if they really wanted a great commercial, they would have come to me and Joe, because he's right. Okay. And that remember that old one, Gerald? This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs, with the egg.
That was a really good one. I think that's one of their best. I really think that's.
If you replace that with scrambled eggs, like Joe said, like it would be more palatable, like both literally and figuratively.
Make sure the eggs are a little runny.
Yes, yes, because your brain is mush at that point.
So I'll bring it back to you, Joe, and I'll get you here in a second, Magic Man. Is this team in its championship level shape, quote unquote, as Luka seems to be heading into this season?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not.
Why so?
Because there's too many holes when playoff time comes at the moment. We still have to wait to see if DeAndre Ayton is going to play better than he did last year. Austin and Rui, the same thing. And how JJ Redick is going to preserve LeBron James. I'm not worried about Luka. Luka's going to do Luka things. Get ready for Luka dropping 30 a game. I'll tell you that right now. If he plays 75 games or more, he's dropping 29 a game. I'll give you that. How about that? 29 to 30 a game. And he's probably going to average anywhere between 8 to 10 assists, and then probably 7.
He's top 5 on as far as going for the.
Luka's coming. He's coming for blood. And those games against Dallas, you remember Jordan the year he came back, right? The last 16 games, and then he went into the playoffs, won in the first round, but then lost to Orlando in the second round. He wasn't fit. Probably mentally too. Physically, yes, he had more of a baseball body, right? That's what he said. He was more prepared to play a baseball game than a basketball game. But also mentally, he wasn't all there. It's too early. It's too much competition. Too many good players in the NBA to just come in and start owning everybody out of nowhere, even if you're Michael Jordan. But what he did that summer is the next day, which eerily sounded the same thing from what I read, that the second they lost Game 5 to Minnesota, Mr. Doncic was in the gym. Then I think they said the next day. So, and we all know what happened. We all know what Michael did in 1996 after that. And this team is not the 96 Bulls, and they won't be. There's not enough talent there. There's not enough coaching there to justify that. But I'm talking strictly Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is an all-time great, and he's in his prime. But he's really going into his prime square right now. So if this guy ends up playing 75 games, he is going to roll during the 82-game season. And all that needs to go with that is making sure LeBron has enough energy to end the year and make sure everybody else around him gets better. And that also will factor into how Luka can do that as well. Maybe Luka can go up a notch a little bit more in helping these guys play better. And then we'll talk about championship aspirations when the season is over, the regular season. We'll figure out what's going on after that.
Also here today, good man indeed. It is, of course, the man from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to stop on by to talk about Luka's transformation and something else I'm going to hit the guys up with a little bit later on. Something else intriguing in the land of Lakers, per se. That was put out there on social media this past weekend. But we'll talk about the most important thing first. It is, of course, the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here, my friend. When we're talking about Luka, I did, again, as I said before you came on, I did receive all the PR stuff earlier this morning. I don't know how Hearst Publishing got the hold of me, but okay. That's always unnerving. But then again, I get a whole bunch of spam. That's always unnerving. I still got, people asking me for, $1 million, or say I want $1 million, or say I've been given $1 million from a Nigerian prince, I think it was. But be that as it may, my friend, this was actually a detailed synopsis of the interview that he had with Men's Health as a cover story. When you see him making this kind of transformation, putting in the work to do that, what does that say about your feeling towards, first off, Luka? Before we get into the team, your thoughts on that, Luka, and what he may do for the Lakers this upcoming season.
Gerald, I'll hold my powder on that because you brought up a very important facet of life in the fast lane, especially in Western civilization. Creditors. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever they call you, here's what I'd like you to do. You're going to listen to them threaten you. You're going to listen to them tell you that if you don't give them what they want, they're going to take everything but the shirt off your back. So as you're listening to this, I want you to just be calm, kick your feet up, and after they finish that, you ask them the following question. What are you looking at right now? And they'll be bewildered, and they'll respond, what? And you will respond, what are you looking at right now? I'm looking out my window at my beautiful backyard. I can hear you're in a call center, surrounded by probably what is about 500 other people. So I'm guessing you don't have windows right now. And you keep responding with those questions, ladies and gentlemen, and you make them hang up on you. When it's over,
I'm just going to say this.
You treat yourself because you just won.
I'm just going to say this. I called the other day to take care of an issue with my washer, and I spoke to 3 different people with 3 different accents in 3 different parts of the world, and I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead.
Yes. Man. Oh, I agree, Gerald. I agree. You're speaking with somebody in Sri Lanka, and then the next call, they send you to Santiago, Chile, and then finally I'm talking to somebody in Greensboro, North Carolina.
It's crazy indeed. And today was even funner because I got a 6-foot fireplace console landed right on my doorstep, which I didn't order. So I called FedEx, spoke to somebody from another part of the universe, and asked, this is yours. Would you like to retrieve it? Oh no, call Ashley Furniture. So I have to go out of my way to call Ashley Furniture to get rid of the fireplace that you left on my doorstep. The 6-foot, 250-pound fireplace you left on my doorstep. Okay. All right. Whatever. Okay, I'll take care of it.
I've had to carry up a couple toilets up a flight of stairs, but never a 6-foot fireplace. I don't think I could do that.
I got the pictures. I'll do the WhatsApp. I'll send it on WhatsApp later.
I don't think I could handle that myself, Gerald.
Yeah, it was not fun. I had to move it around.
Joe could. I couldn't.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. But need I digress on that? Let's get back to again.
You know how many times I moved? You remember the big tube TVs?
The big fat backs?
The big
fat
ones.
The fat backs.
Not only was the TV, but it was also whatever.
It was wide and then
are the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst
Sony
TV.
Vega TVs are the absolute worst. You want to know why I have back problems today? Just say Sony.
But here's the
they
thing:
get TV.
those were hard to steal from a third floor room.
They're hard to steal. They're hard to move from 10
I
inches.
had to take those TVs at least maybe 10 times as a youth up concrete steps. Forget about just regular steps. Concrete steps. So that means you can't touch the ground. Your hands are destroyed. That's probably why I have a high pain threshold whenever it comes to things. It was a disaster. Now I can carry one 75-inch screen on, just open it like this and just walk.
The 40-inch Vega TV I used to have to sell at times 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I'll just leave it at that.
Oh my God.
So I get back to you, Magic, on this. We talked to Joe, and Joe had his answer. And my answer, I think, as everybody has heard this show, coalesce with Joe's on that. But I want to hear your thoughts. Rob has had a chance this offseason to go all in with Luka Prime. But again, you and I have argued with Joe on this ad nauseum. But even he admits, with Luka now in what can be called championship shape, is the team in championship shape surrounding him?
No.
Didn't think so. Why so, my friend?
Because, Gerald, we just do not have complementary basketball players around him enough to sustain a deep run in the playoffs. You need roughly around 6 of those guys, and then probably 2 others that can spell the other guys for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, or perhaps longer, depending on, the flow of a series or injuries, what have you, different contributing factors. But yeah, we don't have the thoroughbreds drilled. We have a lot of really good horses. They're NBA players, and I suspect that Luka will carry this team on his back to, roughly anywhere on the low end, probably 45, 47 wins, Gerald. The high end, we're probably looking at maybe you get to 51, 52 at that. But you definitely need a shot in the arm if you want to get to that higher end, because it's just that, especially on the wing, there's just not enough there. Like Joe said, there are holes. There are cavities in this team as far as not having enough blood and gas at the end of games to compete. Now, one aspect I will say that is completely being overlooked with the Luka trade, and I'm surprised no one's had this discussion, Gerald, is, would Luka ever be in this great of shape, Gerald, if Dallas had not traded him? If they rested on their laurels and just were complaining about his conditioning, would he really have had a summer like this, Gerald? I mean, think about it. In all his time in Dallas, he has been sitting on a throne. And we discussed his stamina at the end of games when he was playing with the Mavericks, but I never, certain guys just play with different body types. Like, I remember Anthony Mason was a bigger guy, slightly taller than Luka, but a lot larger than him, and he could play 40 minutes a game, Gerald. I remember he could sustain effort at the end of the game. So it's not as if there was, on our part, this, why doesn't he have it at the end of games? It's more about the level of vengefulness that he has. I don't think that ever would have been sparked in Dallas, Gerald. And nobody's really discussing this. I've seen this before as a sports fan. I've seen it before. It happened in 1995 when the Montreal Canadiens traded goaltender Patrick Roy to the Colorado Avalanche. Now, for a lot of people don't give a rat crap about hockey, here's the big deal about that trade. Before the Colorado Avalanche relocated, they were the Quebec Nordique. They were Montreal's biggest rival for almost a century. And they traded their god to their biggest nemesis, Gerald. But they thought they could get away with it because they were a lot like Nico Harrison. That ownership group and that management group thought they were so conceited, so right, that they were going to rue the day that they criticized them for making that move. And what happened, Gerald? The Canadians went on a bit of a run to start the regular season. However, they slipped and fell on the banana peel that is their management and ownership, and Colorado went on to win a couple Stanley Cups, got to a couple more, and became a dynasty. Now, will this translate with Luka and the Lakers? I sure as hell hope so, because I see a lot of similarities, a lot. But it's really up to the Lakers to find complementary basketball players around Luka. And I don't think Rob Pelinka is the man for the job, Gerald. I think Rob has a knack for being able to listen to scouts and developmental coaches, Gerald, and really imbibe what they're saying, because, Alex Caruso, Austin Reeves are examples of players who Rob Pelinka didn't put on the trade market. He allowed them to thrive and flourish in the system. So it's not as if finding a diamond in the rough or being able to find synergistic players is beneath him, but he doesn't do it consistently enough to warrant optimism that he can do it with Luka on this Lakers team, Gerald. And and the proof is in the pudding. Despite the restrictions, there are certain teams that have been able to surround their superstar or their young stars with talent. We'll do one in both. So the two examples that me and Gerald I've discussed with Gerald since I've been on the show is when you're building a team, it's one or two ways. What the traditional way is you find your superstar, you get everything down to the studs, you build around that superstar, and you fill in the gaps. That one would probably be Oklahoma City right now. They got SGA and they filled in the gaps. And the other one is you have the core players. You just need that one guy that's left. And that team right now, Jared, would probably be Houston. Houston drafted well, they've developed well, and they were able to trade for KD. So it's one or the other. The Lakers right now are in the mid area, Gerald. They have transitional ownership right now, and we don't know what the money situation is as far as spending goes because they're so near the apron at this point. Now, is that by design from the new group to giving marching orders to the current regime, or is this the bosses doing this? Hard to know, hard to say. It's only speculative. But yeah, I would say at this point, you need a really good guard, you need a really good wing, and then another backup wing. And then I would say you're starting to look like a team that can build around Luka Doncic.
And in response to Trojan, yeah, I heard that the past couple days in regards to Nikola Vucevic possibly being another one of those buyout rumors that we're hearing, because he's the name of this week. Last week it was Drew Holiday, Joe. This week it's Nikola Vucevic. Next week it'll be someone else, and the next week, and the next week, to get us through this long period of time without any basketball. But and I hope that's the case. It's like you said, Joe, in your comments to our audience, that I would like to see him as a backup. As far as for us, that would be great. But the problem is we only have a veterans minimum to do. Our roster, unless we trade somebody, is virtually set right now. Whether Rob leaves that last spot open or not, or the last two-way spot open or not. That's all we have left is a veterans minimum and a two-way, because Eric Dixon was only given an Exhibit 10 contract after all. So your thoughts on this, my friend? How is this going to play itself out with trying to build? If Luka really goes at it this season and plays to an MVP level, we've seen that argument before. We've seen the comments before. As far as Joe, oh, he took a worse team to the NBA Finals. Oh, he took a less talented team to the NBA Finals. You and I have seen that before in the chat. So let's say it does look like he's carrying the Lakers to that top three. I don't. Again, that's just the comments for what he said. I'm not saying I agree with or disagree with it. But you and I have seen that comment made here in recent times since we've gotten Luka. The question I'm asking is, with that, is if Luka is ready to play that level, how can the Lakers get to that level themselves if we don't have enough confidence in them as a team right now?
What would change the space for Mr. Pelinka is, can you take two expiring contracts that on players that aren't going to really do much for you and turn it into a valuable player on a potential title run? That's really what he has to do. Mm-hmm. However you can create that, whether it's directly trading for someone or trading those players so that you're allowed to acquire or bring in someone who has value that's wanting to come here. The Lakers kind of got lucky with two of them this offseason. I'm not expecting a third. But without doing something, Rob can enhance his narrative a little bit if he's able to move those two expiring contracts in Cleveland.
I was just going to type that into CMB right now.
That to me will be the. And here's the thing: it doesn't matter how good it turns out. Rob Pelinka will not be the general manager as you see him now in the next few years. Once new ownership takes over, new ownership brings in their own people. Just accept it. We want to look at JJ Redick as far as a job analysis. There's a chance they could keep him, but he's going to have to go above and beyond and go, wow, we can't lose this guy. And that's rare too. It's rare when new ownership comes in and they don't want their own GMs and their own coaches. So I'm not married to anybody here. I'm not enamored with Luka's offseason regimen. I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, it's an athlete who got ready in the summer. That's why I'm saying I would have rather have him showed up like this at Media Day. It would have been more dramatic. It would have been really dramatic because he would have been quiet. And I know it would have been hard because he's playing for Slovenia, but a lot of times the camera can do weird things. Like people will be saying, hey, man, that line looks skinny. Hey, this, and that. But then when he's in all his Laker gear and he's at Media Day answering questions, then at that point it becomes more of a show. The end result for the Lakers next year is a mystery, like all other potential title playoff participants. I can't put all 29 in there because we know there's probably going to be about 15 that aren't going to win dick. I'm not going to put them in there. But there's a chance that the Lakers could win it all. There's a chance because you do have Luka Doncic, who's one of the three best players on the planet. LeBron is viable, still viable. And then you have hungry players there that are young too. So I guess the mystery makes it exciting a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
If we just knew that, did we really know that the Lakers were going to repeat in 2001? Did we really know they were going to three-peat in 2002? I remember my feeling at the time. My feeling was, who's going to beat this team? It was a roller coaster in 01 until the end of March. End of March, they finished that season 8 in a row, and then they wax Portland in 3 games, winning by double digits in all 3. Then Kobe drops 48 points. You know, the second fiddle during that team, during that run, right? He was the second fiddle, right? 48 points, 16 rebounds for a guard. 16 rebounds for a guard on the road to close out a sweep against Sacramento. And then, of course, they proceed to destroy the 1 seed in the San Antonio Spurs. Last 2 games being 39 and 29 point shellackings. Oh, and then they lose the first game to Philly. Still, one of the worst calls I've ever seen. A offensive foul on Robert Horry when the Lakers had the ball with the lead in overtime, a considerable lead in my view in overtime, and then ended up losing that game. But then, of course, they ended up backdoor sweeping them and going 15-1 to win a championship. Those times, yeah, we knew. 2002, I had a pretty good feeling they were going to three-peat. Now we don't have those. We don't have those luxuries. We have Oklahoma City who wins 68 games. Yet, is it scary? Denver, who has the best player on the planet currently.
They're the most recent champion in any sport I can remember where they weren't the story of the finals, Joe. Tyrese Halliburton was the story of that finals. It wasn't OKC.
And Denver wasn't the story when they won. That's what made Mike Malone angry. They were still talking about LeBron and the Lakers.
Well, the truth is what the truth is. It's just
no one wants to know what the Denver Nuggets are doing. They don't have that guy. LeBron James is still the face of the NBA with, and to some degree, Steph Curry. LeBron is a better player than Steph Curry. It makes sense, right? And Steph Curry is an all-time great, but LeBron is still the face of the NBA. It's not SGA. SGA doesn't have a transcendent face. Neither does Jokic. There's a chance that Luka could be that guy, but we don't know that yet.
Whenever somebody says mysteries can be fun, I always think of that, Gerald.
Absolutely.
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. Could be a boat.
Could be anything you want, but so Joe and Sean, again, I got the media blitz. I was part of the media blitz, but you saw it today. ESPN couldn't get enough. There's eating it all up. And all the other sports outlets just could not get enough of Luka Doncic with this transformation, which you guys, we've already talked about on the show. We said if you just saw him taking photos with people, he was right there all over social media already. You could see what the transformation was going to be like. But it's interesting to see, Sean, as you're eating right now, this is what I was going to touch on. He talked about a gluten-free, low sugar, intermittent fasting diet in order to get, along with obviously heavy workouts, to get where he's at right now. Which I have to chuckle, guys, because I was at the game a couple Mondays ago and I saw the entire Lakers squad eating $4 popcorn, including Austin Reeves, Jackson Hayes, and DeAndre Ayton and the like. It's just munching away now. While Luka's intermittent fasting, they're eating popcorn. So, yeah, there you go.
But Gerald, can we dispel a myth on LFB? Can we do that? There's no such thing as a fucking diet.
Okay.
There is no such thing as a diet. There is caloric intake and energy output. And when the energy output is higher than the caloric intake, that means that the body will lose weight. It's math, Gerald. It's not the new math. It's just regular math. And no diet. And I whatever it takes, right? I believe in intermittent fasting. As a type 1 diabetic, it has helped me greatly over decades. So I'm a immense, vehement proponent of intermittent fasting. I So it sounds like he's had more of an alkaline diet, which is what I eat as well. Very little acidic food, very little processed food. You're eating a lot of root vegetables, like cruciferous vegetables, Gerald. Stuff that's really good for your bones, especially calcium and phosphorus. And especially, like, do you remember that documentary of him in Dallas, Gerald, where he was riding around in his Phantom and he was eating, I think, In and Out or Whataburger, listening to the
Probably
Migos.
Whataburger.
Yeah, that is not good for you to eat at all. But especially when you're a top shelf athlete in the NBA, that stuff is not good to eat. Like, if you really want a good cut of beef, Gerald, call the Dallas Mavericks or ask your team physician for a good um, nutritionist in the Dallas Fort Worth area. You know,
But the one thing I
because
want to
he
ask,
can afford it, Gerald.
yeah,
Gerald, a lot of athletes now, and you see it, I see it in the NHL, the NFL, and now the NBA. You can hire a really good nutritionist for less than 100K, and they can properly give you the diet you need or the energy you need to be at your peak performance. LeBron does it. KD does it. I know Kawhi does it. Connor McDavid does it. Mark Stone for Gerald's Vegas Knights. They all have personal nutritionists. So I mean, it's about time. It's about time, isn't it?
Looks like it, indeed. But one of the things he kind of strayed away from a little bit, although there is some pictures there in regards to him with the basketball, with the weight training, and whatnot. But Joe, he kind of leaned away from working more on his He worked more on his body and kind of leaned away from focusing on the basketball end of it. Was that a good thing in his comments? Was that something that maybe could refresh him so that he'll be focused playing in the Euros, as Vari mentioned in the chat, and then ultimately for the Los Angeles Lakers here in a couple months?
I don't think he's going to forget how to play basketball. He will be playing basketball.
Taking some time off sometimes is good.
Absolutely. Less wear and tear. Not everybody will be Kobe, right? Kobe is insane. And even Kobe started getting flat tires towards the end of his career just because of that. Yeah. But he gave so much the first 14, 15 years. It didn't matter, at least for me anyways. The purpose of this season is to usher in the new Lakers, truly the new Laker future. So Luka Doncic will have an offseason, which seems to have already gone underway in preparation for the year. He's going to have basketball shape to boot with the Slovenia team. And all the drama that seems to be festering in and around the Laker world isn't affecting the Lakers, because smart Laker fans, not the ones that continue to look at the blue light outside with all the moths and the flies, the true Laker fans that understand what's coming are relaxed and understand that they're in a very good position, not only in leadership, but also in talent, that in a very short amount of time here, the Lakers will be back to focusing on things that matter instead of drama, instead of sound bites, instead of social media rants, innuendos, silent treatments, agents talking out of their rear end, things like that. Sometimes you gotta. There's a scene in Gladiator. It's in the extended version of Gladiator where the Emperor is talking to one of his guys, one of the guys that follows him, and he says, "There's a fish under the water in the sea that lets its enemy think it's incapacitated, and it'll even let the
No,
enemy.
it nibbles it.
It nibbles, right? And it still doesn't move. This is what needs to be done. Let it keep nibbling. Let it keep doing its thing. It's kind of like reading sometimes the comment section on our show. Sometimes you have these guys that you can tell are trying to get under your skin, but then you let them nibble a little bit. Don't say anything. We say something most of the time, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes there's certain guys that you can warrant. Just let them nibble a little bit, and then in the end, you'll get them. They'll either go away or you'll get them really good and they'll get embarrassed and leave. Either way, you win. And the Lakers are in that position right now. They're in a position of let the league do what they want to do. Let them criticize, because it was not without criticism today when I really delve into this Luka thing and his fitness. Is he still going to play defense? If he doesn't play defense, it doesn't mean anything. So now he's supposed to be Gary Payton now. This is how stupid people are.
Well, that's the first thing Lloyd Avenue said on our show. Will this transformation help him play defense? That's the first thing he said.
That's a dumb question, Lloyd. You need to fix that question. Luka Doncic is not Gary Payton, and he never will be Gary Payton. He won't even be Marcus Smart. But you know what Luka Doncic has done being Luka Doncic? He's made 5 first-team All-NBAs. He's won a scoring title. He's won a Western Conference Finals MVP. He's won Rookie of the Year. He's arguably the best point guard in the world. And it'll likely be no argument probably this year. So what exactly do you want him to be? Do you want Kareem in the 70s to be a better ball handler now? Is that what you go into offseason saying, well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar better be able to handle that ball better. He needs to work on that. Luka Doncic is never going to be a defender, just like Magic Johnson never made a first-team all-defensive team. I don't even think did Isaiah make an all-defensive first team?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No,
I'll look it up.
It was Michael Jordan and Joe Dumars, or it was Jordan and Alvin Robertson. It wasn't Isaiah.
Basketball fans really don't understand. Maybe it's because they're spoiled. You have no idea how hard it is to be good in both areas. That's why Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, Kawhi Leonard, these guys are freaks beyond freaks. You don't make those guys every day. I just named you 4 of them. I can't remember the other 2. Alvin Robinson,
Gary Payton, and
Gary Payton was a little different. I think Gary Payton.
Love.
He was a point guard. He didn't impose his will.
Gary's the best sabotage point of attack defender.
And to officially answer your question, the answer is no, Joe. He never made a defensive team of any type.
You don't. It's not fair. I'm saying this as a joke. It's not fair that you have a guy that can dunk on your ass at will, and then on top of that, go back on defense and shut your ass down. Scottie Pippen is the other one too.
Yes,
well, he wasn't a relentless scorer. He wasn't a relentless scorer he's more, let's say, more of a Kawhi Leonard, tactical, right? In a different way. Uh-huh. So you don't have a lot of guys that can do that in the history of the game. So to expect somebody to all of a sudden in an offseason start playing defense like he's supposed to be on a first team all defensive team or even a second, that's not being very realistic. Those guys don't count, Curry. Those guys are bigs. I'm talking about guards. The Lakers are going to be the talk of the season for a couple of reasons. Luka's going to be one. LeBron possibly playing his last season in LA, for sure in LA at the very least. Maybe you might play more later, but not in LA. And then do the boys, do the young guys who are playing for something go up a notch? That matters. Right now, we can't make that assessment. We can't assume that DeAndre Ayton is going to be better or Austin Reeves or Rui or even Marcus Smart. We can't really say that until we see it. They're not that kind of player. They're not the top of the cream of the crop to say, you know what, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. These guys are great players. These guys are very good players. But we're going to have to see where this will go. Will they go up a notch for that money? Really? I know Luka's going to make him play better. I know DeAndre Ayton. You watch, guys. DeAndre Ayton is going to make LeBron's job much easier. Those pick and rolls, the spacing, him being 15 feet out, allowing LeBron to slither and get to the basket. I'm telling you right now, guys, if Ayton is focused, it's going to help a lot, especially LeBron. Go ahead.
Well, it's just a simple fact. Well, it's just simple. Let me get you real quick, Magic Man. I've said this before. If DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart next summer don't pick up their second year on their contracts, that means they had a pretty darn good year and are looking for multi-year deals because they helped the Lakers win a lot of games, Magic Man.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to look at when you have to look at the comps, right? You look at Miles Turner, who played abysmal basketball when it mattered, and he got a $100 million contract. Not only that, but he actually cost the team he went to an additional $20 to $23 million.
22 to 23 a year. It cost the Bucks $50 million a year to acquire Miles.
That is a guy who, if he had played better, might have been able to get his team a title by winning the series earlier.
And get his money.
And he would have got his money. He might have gotten more, but in terms of the cost for the team he went to, that's the focus here. That team invested $122 to $123 million. More. I'm sorry. $50 million a year for the next 4 years. 50 for Miles Turner. So
Joe, it's like this. It's like walking out in the middle of a field, okay? Walking out in the middle of a field, you have a grenade, you pull the pin, you keep the grenade in your hand. That's what the Bucks did. With Giannis standing over there watching everything, Gerald. Yeah, we're just going to acquire Miles Turner, and I'll just pull this pin. We'll see what happens.
And this guy's 3 years older than DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is 26. Miles Turner is 29. So that's why you can't really look. I keep saying this because it's important. If an idiot like me in the middle of nowhere knows what's going on, you don't think these guys know what's going on? Come on. Especially agents. Like, they know. They know. Agents know because it's money involved. Whenever money's involved, everybody knows everything. So DeAndre,
you see LeBron with Jokic's agent and on that yacht on the weekend.
Hold on.
Everybody's best friends. Yeah, we're best friends.
We're gonna touch on that later. We're gonna touch on that to close out the show, Magic Man. Don't give that away. I put that already in the script. We're gonna touch on that later in the show. But Joe, again, to finish up,
the business is what we call a tease.
This is a tease. Yes, a lot of variables have to happen, Joe, for the Lakers to be in a position to go ahead and get the title. I think there is a pathway. It's a narrow pathway now, but it could widen based on injuries to other teams in certain places. But it also could widen if they see that Luka is having an MVP season. He is guiding the team or carrying the team, however you want to phrase it, to a really, really good record. And if that's the case, I think that will readjust the plans of this organization and start saying, you know what, that timeline for 26 and 27, we may have to eschew it just a little bit to help this team win a title now, Joe.
My assumption in the process, and it'll be, I think it'll be clearer once new management takes over, new ownership takes over, is I'm pretty sure that the new ownership will create an avenue for someone to want to come to LA. I think that's what's in the back of their minds. They're not worried. 2027 it's a nice place to go based off of current contractual setups.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's certain players that could say, I'm going to test the market. And not only are they're not just any players. We're talking about some of the best players of this era who still have a lot left in the tank. You're not writing a book of your life for 2027, which what you have to do is you have to prepare just in case. Remember I told you the comparison to the Kevin Durant thing? I didn't think Kevin Durant was going to go to Golden State. I didn't think he would. And if Golden State had sat there a year earlier or 2 years earlier, knowing how the contracts were going to play out with Steph Curry, if they had said, come on, Kevin Durant ain't going to leave Oklahoma City to come to Golden State. Yeah, come on. If they had that thinking, they wouldn't have got him. That would have been 2 less titles. So you can't have that thinking. There's a reason why these contracts are set up the way they are. And the way it's playing out in LA, you have an all-time great about to hit his real prime and an ownership that has a reputation of being very dominant in how they run an organization. Somebody is going to want to come here. And it's going to happen between now and 2027, whether it's through free agency or a demand to go to LA. It's going to likely happen. That's the good part. That's the good part. And you're talking about a guy on your team right now who's getting into shape, who's in shape, who's only 26. This guy's going to be great for at least another 6 to 7 years. So if I sat down Luka and I said, Luka, I know you're kind of in a whirlwind here. You thought you were going to spend your career in Dallas, blah, 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 blah. But I need you to focus on building this sucker because we got new sheriffs coming in, and they're going to make sure you're going to be happy, and we're going to make sure you're going to be competitive, and then you're going to have a chance to win 3 or 4 titles. You might have to wait a year or 2, but you're going to be competing for titles.
That's the problem. If you have to
there
wait
isn't a problem. There is not a problem.
It is a problem because this goes back to our because
how are you going to win this year with what?
You just
you're not with what? What are you going to trade to be to be the favorite to win a championship? What are you going to trade? Who are you going to get?
Again, you've got $50 million in expiring contracts that get much more desirable by the trade.
No one wants those guys unless you have draft capital.
Plus 2 first-round picks.
So you might have to saying to a player in his prime, you might have to wait a year or 2. Saying to a fan base, you might have to wait a year or 2.
Michael Jordan waited 8 seasons.
Especially telling the Lakers fan base you might have to wait a year or 2
before they won their championship.
Meanwhile, Boston is going to eventually reload.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. You're not. Oh, okay. You know the Boston Celtics organization, who you've called, who you have complimented on. You've complimented Brad Stevens yourself.
I've seen a history of new ownership, and usually it goes the other way when it comes to those.
Okay, I'm just saying you've complimented.
The reason why the Mark Walter thing is different is because we know who Mark Walter is. I don't know who the hell these new owners are in Boston. I don't know. I've never heard of them.
Oh, okay. All right.
But everybody wants to trade AR. Everybody wants to trade Reeves. Reeves is not that kind of player, guys, and he's only making $14 million. You're not going to be able to trade him for a great player that's making $30 or $40 million. It's not in the cards. So telling Luka you might have to wait a couple years isn't an insult. It's reality of the current structure. But once the 2 years comes in, you're going to be competing for the next 6-7 years and have a chance to win 3 or 4 titles. How's it any different? How's it any different than when you bring in a quarterback?
When you're going to offer him a contract.
How many rookie quarterbacks come in the NFL and win out right out the gate? How many? Okay, you had the anomalies. You had anomalies like Big Ben. Big Ben won a title in his 2nd year. How long did it take Peyton Manning to win a Super Bowl in 1998? He was drafted in 1998. He didn't win a Super Bowl until 2006. You don't think he wanted to win in 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002? 2003, 2004? You don't think he wanted to win when he was winning MVPs? It doesn't work like that in team sports.
Hard.
This isn't playing tennis or playing golf where the individual has the power.
Wait till
I'm just trying to give what the guys wanted. So, Hernan wanted me to get a little bit angry, so I got a little angry. Sorry, I try.
I mean, for some guys, it takes even longer. Joe, Sidney Crosby won his first Stanley Cup less than 6 years in the NHL. It took Alexander Ovechkin almost 14.
Okay. So I want you to keep telling the fan base out there. Wait a year.
Well, no, we're not. No. I'll
Joe
allow
was
me
saying
to.
that.
No, well, that's not what he's trying to say. That's the way it's coming out. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll retort with, Gerald.
Joe usually never minces words. He's usually very descriptive.
Well, do you remember Better Call Saul, Gerald? Did you like that series?
Yes.
Okay. So do you remember towards the end where the DA and Marie are sitting at one side of the table and Marie's berating Saul Goodman while he's sitting there just listening to her, and then he gets to talk and he starts talking, and then the lawyer says, "You think a jury's gonna buy that? All I need is one."
That's right.
All I need is one. And that's what you say about disgruntled NBA stars. All I need is one dumbass GM. And line them up across the street, Joe Gerald, about 25 names, because I only know about a handful of them who got more than half a brain. So it's good. I agree with Gerald. It's up to Pelinka's due diligence, which he should perform daily to try and get the best deal there, because there's always a sucker around the corner.
And I'm not saying he's done a bad job this offseason, Magic. He got 3 players, relatively inexpensive, low risk, high reward returns. The problem is he did not go all out. It's clear, like LeBron. You know what? Forever you want to say, and wherever we always complain about the passive aggressiveness and all the statements, the Rich Paul statement when he signed was true. The Lakers are on 2 different timelines. They want to compete a little now, but they want to save their money for later. And they want to, doing so, you cannot go all in on your team right now in order to accommodate said other timeline. So again, for what he did and what he's doing, I don't think he did a bad job at all this offseason. I gave it about a B minus. I said, that's good. It'll make the team competitive. Most of the guys in here in our chat have a clear head about it. We're thinking 3 to 6 right now. That's great. But is it going to get you in the range of where Lakers fans want to go? And in the prime year of Luka, now look, Joe did say, and I will agree with him, he has a style of play, although he is, I guess one of the things I saw that was funny with Luka Doncic article was him improving his vertical leap, and you can insert your own joke in there if you want. But he will have a prime of about 6-7 years. I get that. I understand that. But wasting any one of them without putting forth your best effort as an organization, you're going to have to answer to somebody, whether it's the owner, whether it's the fans, what have you. We're going to be hearing about it.
I disagree, Blood. I disagree. I think it's quite possible the Lakers, if they have due diligence here and if they play their cards right, and I know there's 2 big ifs, but you can rent somebody in the NBA, Blood. You can rent somebody.
I will say,
and this team has a habit of being able to rinse multiple times.
I will say this now, Tough. Again, check your email when you get a chance, because I have your response on the shirt. I'm going to go hopefully tomorrow, if all goes well, and get it for you. I do want to say that you can't start Smart right away. You have to see if physically he's going to be able to get you 60, 65 games. Joe, I'll bring it back to you. Marcus Smart, Again, he played only 54 games in 2 years, and he does bring a lot of things that the starting lineup does need. But I can't start him right away coming out of training camp. I think that is an error for anyone out there to think that right away because, again, 54 games in 2 years, he has to prove to us, to the NBA as a whole, that he can still be durable over the course of an 82-game season. Maybe 2-3 months down the line, you start looking at it, the possibility if it's a better deal to start in, or at least a month in. Give it a little time before you jump in and say, you know what, Marcus Smart, you're going to be our guy.
I don't think Marcus has any pressure for being the guy. He's a puzzle piece in this. There was no investment really made in him. It was essentially paying him what exception that you could pay at the time, and you only have him really for 1 year in terms of a guarantee. It could be done by the end of the year. I have expectations of Marcus Smart playing a position that is needed. However, I'm not going to go nuts if he doesn't play well or doesn't play enough, because it didn't cost the Lakers anything. They didn't make a bad decision risking things that were important for him. They picked him up for free. And if we're going to get angry that he's not able to play at least 65 games and only plays 30 games, well, it looks like Marcus Smart is starting to go downhill. Officially getting towards the area where he's probably not going to be in the NBA very long. I don't think I'm there yet. I think he's too good of a player to go that route right now. I don't know what happened last year.
They're only 31.
He's 31. That you're like right there.
Yeah.
I just don't want to start him yet, guys, because again, 2 years, 54 games. He did get the injury bug when he left Boston. You talk to the Boston people that
the last player who became very good and sustained a level of being very good after multiple injuries in his 30s was Sean Livingston. Now, is Marcus Smart capable of delivering there as a guard, Gerald? It's possible. That's why I wouldn't start him. I would give him every opportunity to lead the bench. Okay, Marcus, you fancy yourself a playmaker. He did, Gerald. In Boston, he fancied himself a playmaker. He considered himself one of the best playmakers. So, you know what, Marcus? This is what I would say if I was JJ, Gerald. I would close the door. Marcus, our bench is shit.
There's no other way to say it.
There's no other way to say it. Our bench is shit. You had a very, very high confidence of being a playmaker in Boston. Now, if I was JJ, we could quibble about his effectiveness, Gerald, but it worked because Boston won a lot of games with him playing that off-guard position, but having a pretty fair usage rate. So I would give him every opportunity to lead this bench squad. Take as many shots as you want, Marcus. Distribute the ball as much as you want. You lead this bench because we are not going to survive a season if our bench is only scoring about 25 points a game, which is about what we averaged, ladies and gentlemen. And
there's a good sign here. There's a good sign of something that just came out today. The Miami Heat were trying to swing a trade using Terry Rozier for Marcus Smart. So that's a good sign that Pat Riley saw something that was still there with Marcus Smart. You remember we've talked about this the last few years with the Miami Heat letting go guys and the Lakers picking them up and turning into dog shit.
Kendrick Nunn. Oh,
well, yeah. And well, now,
Gabe.
now we have to use that to our advantage in reverse. if Pat Riley was, I'm assuming the reason why the deal didn't go through is maybe Washington was asking for too much. They're like, I can't do that.
Oh, and Terry Rozier might be looked into by the feds for.
I wonder what happened now.
Right. So, hey, you know what, Pat? Pat, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, and the NBA is probably going to have those half times during the All-Star game where they care about people, care about people's livelihoods. But yeah,
Bet FanDuel, go broke.
Yeah, go broke and destroy your families while you're at it, guys. But keep watching the NBA, by the way, guys. We want you to watch the NBA. We want you to watch this. We want you to watch this 3-point contest while you're gambling. And not only are you gambling, these gambling apps they make you gamble every minute. Remember when you would put a parlay in and then you relax and hope that it works? Now you have apps that are telling you in the third quarter.
Well, BetMGM sends you one every
give you
12
bucks.
seconds.
Just say no now. We give you $12. So these guys are creating crack fiends.
This is sick.
It is so bad. I have cousins that watch the show who are begging me to help them with this shit, right? And I'll help them. I'll throw some knowledge here and there. They're like, Joe, why don't you do this? You know more about this stuff. You pay attention to it. I go, you have any idea what this is going to do to sports? Just listen, man. That stuff's all coming true now, guys. It's becoming a documentary.
I could just take you to the strip, Joe. We could go to the Taco Bell Cantina.
Do not ever see gambling,
kidding.
weed. These
Las
things
Vegas
never should be mainstream. They should have never been mainstream. They need to be taboo. They need to be underground. Because when you let things like that go, you have the Laker Toms smoking up everything in sight and saying weird things. And then you have what's going on now with these players in baseball. And Clase in baseball is not just some bum playing in Toronto as a 12th man. Okay, Clase is arguably the best closer in baseball. And now his ass is dealing with this shit. So now what? What's going to happen next? Are we going to have to wait for, I don't know, Bryce Harper to get caught before you start waking up? Just saying. Just saying. I know a lot of people still think that Shohei was gambling. His boy took the fall. There's still a lot of stuff on that. The thing is, I have a friend who's in the feds, doesn't know exactly what happened, but what he did tell me is if the feds had stuff on Shohei, he would have been busted.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose to believe that or not. This is my best friend from when I was 13 years old. I'm going to believe his ass before I believe any of you motherfuckers. So he said if the feds had shit, they would have busted Shohei, his dad, his mammy, his cousins. It didn't matter who the hell it was. They don't give a shit who you are. They would have busted his ass. They had nothing on Shohei. So it is what it is. But it's going to be a problem. It is going to be a problem. And all these two-faced assholes are going to come out and justify it either way and say, well, it's not our problem, or it's, bad decisions, or they'll start putting those stupid disclaimers on things to get out of lawsuits probably.
Well, I'm not sure about locally, Gerald, about regional TV contracts, but I do know that many times in this country, usually the intermissions used to be for analysis.
Here in this country.
Yeah, an analysis or, a good interview or some kind of human interest story. Now it's about prop betting.
What used to be a Super Bowl thing is now the mainstream. Prop
Lisa
betting.
Leslie just got paid because she's pitching it every single day, according to my ads.
Yeah. Again, I want you guys to pay attention to those people who yap about doing the right thing. I'm putting quotes for the Apple people and the Spotify. Big rabbits. These guys are the same people yapping about do the right thing. We want to make sure everybody has a chance. Blah blah.
Meanwhile,
blah, blah.
don't forget to read that disclaimer at the bottom of every bet you make, where the company says that they're not responsible for your habits.
Mm-hmm. But they'll put
it's like the cigarette companies, Gerald. Joe. Remember years ago they were sat in front of Congress. I do not believe cigarettes cause cancer. Joe, get these guys who run these companies up. I like, just as an example. Sometimes, Joe, you gotta take somebody behind the barn, pull down their pants, and tear that ass.
But they want it. A lot of the public wants the drugs. They want the gambling. They want the debauchery. They want it.
I don't think people realize the macro problems that gambling addiction causes, Joe, similarly to the macro problems that cigarette smoking was causing.
Yeah,
that
the macro now
was hidden from the general public.
The macro, the secondhand smoking in equivalence to the gambling now is parents going bankrupt because of their child. The secondhand is going to the parents who cannot bail their kid out from major gambling debts. Now you can sit there
I've
and
already
say
told
it's not
my
your
stories
problem.
here. I've already told some of my stories here about Las Vegas firsthand, seeing people, their lives destroyed by gambling firsthand.
This isn't the degenerates in Vegas that are working in casinos as poker dealers and those like back in the day, or some peon that's around bad environments in Vegas or wherever. This is now kids living at home. And they're living at home because the country has created a major hole in terms of being able to buy homes, right? So now there's these 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds all living at home, hoping for their parents to help them. And there's no, and this is the way to get out, right? Let me see if I can win some money this week so I can go and play somewhere or go drink somewhere. No, they're not doing that. So yeah, you can thank the support from the leagues from that. And I don't know if this is going to get solved. I don't know if they give a damn. I don't think they do. I mean, the NFL, no one cares. You know, at the end of the day, we're still watching.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break with of course, Joe Soro, Magic Man Sean Grice. It is me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. So you didn't bet $1,000 on Luka for MVP. I have not checked the odds.
That's not a bad bet, though.
That's a good bet.
That's not a bad bet. That's a good bet. That's fine. You're a grown adult betting on something like that's the fun part. Hey, I'm betting 1,000 on Luka win MVP. I'll win what? What are the odds?
Look, Joe's correct, and I agree with him. But it becomes a problem when you're watching 17-58 Milwaukee versus 6-74 Charlotte, and it's you have no business betting that game, Joe, and people bet on it.
Good luck.
But I guess okay.
Good luck. That's all I got to say. Good luck with that kind of lifestyle.
Well, before we head on out, guys, the second part of the show I wanted to go ahead and touch on is a little more interesting for us, anyways, because we already knew what was going on with Luka, and just reiterating our thoughts. And guys, if you have thoughts, and guys have been all over this Austin Reeves. You know, we get you, we understand you, we empathize with you. If you don't think he can play at that level in the playoffs, offensively or defensively, we understand that. But the Lakers don't have a viable starter to replace him in the starting lineup right now, as of yet, unless Marcus Smart brings back or resurrects himself, which is going to take time to see. But he's also playing for a major contract going forward. And you have to understand that, if you don't have a viable alternative, I don't know what we can do. We just don't have a viable alternative that can step in Reeves' place right now. So during the season, it'll look fine. But I get you. I am as petrified as you guys are in regards to what he will look like in the playoffs if he's still on the team by that point in time. But again, with an expiring contract, we will wait and see what's there. But before we head on out, LeBron James, who was actually working out, trying out his new, I guess, Nike LeBron 23s, was working them out earlier, as you saw on Twitter. But it was what he did a couple days ago that was very interesting, Magic Man, which you mentioned, is that he was in Saint-Tropez, France, I believe the south coast of France, if I'm not mistaken. One of the most luxurious, elegant, and I guess very nice vacation spots on the entire planet. And he just happened to be there with his wife, the family, enjoying life, as it were. And wouldn't you know, he just happens to be on a boat taking pictures with him, Maverick Carter, and the agent for Nikola Jokic, which got the Rock's eyebrows from some people out there on Twitter. Your thoughts on this, as far as why? Why did it have to go out there? I mean, taking a picture is one thing. That's fine. You keep it for the family archives and all that. It's great. But what is the meaning? What is the purpose when you do these things and you know it's just going to stir up more trouble?
Yeah. Well, knowing LeBron James business-wise the way we do, Gerald, I think there was a bit of a carrot at the end of the stick. I'm not sure who that carrot is for, though. I'm not sure if it's for agents and players, or it's more for his own brand. I can't figure that one out. I would need more information when it comes to that stuff. We get what we get on Instagram and Snapchat. That's it. That's what we get. So I would suspect this is knowing his motivations for his own brand. I would just defer for that. It's about him. I don't think this has any implications as far as anything on the physical court, Gerald. To me, I mean, for whatever reason, Jokic's agent has a reputation of being a very affable person, Gerald, but he doesn't have a lot of clients. He lives in Europe, and quite frankly, I don't know what this was, other than to say I think it's just LeBron trying to feed his own ego and creating that air of mystery about what it possibly could be. And by the way, I mean, Saint-Tropez is very nice. Haven't been there, but maybe it was just happened to
Just happened to be there.
You happen to pass each other as they're going on a
Passing
Spanish
ships
caravan.
in the day. Not passing ships in the
Ships
night.
in
Because it was a
the
day job.
day. Yeah, that's what I think. Because I don't, Gerald. I don't really. Do you see LeBron being an owner one day, Gerald?
I do.
Yeah. So that would probably mean that for whatever reason, and again, as Joe was speaking, I had something entered my head, and I wanted somebody to ask the Lakers or LeBron or Rich Paul this question. We know that when LeBron retires, you guys are going to want a coronation everywhere we go. Red carpet, roses, every arena, right? That's what he's gonna want that. We know his ego at this point. So it's not gonna be with the Lakers, it's gonna be with somebody else. We know that. So are you auditioning to maybe go to Denver with him? Maybe, but I don't think so. So again, I think this was to stroke his own ego, Gerald, and just like you said, clickbait talk.
So, Joe, here we go. I'm going to equate it to the. I wish I had this as far as the passive aggressiveness meter. Boop, 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 boop. Going up a little bit. Going up a little bit. It's not at full peak. It's not at max level. But you see that picture, Joe, with LeBron, Maverick Carter, and the agent for Nikola Jokic, and all vacationing in the south of France. Well, it looks like they're happy. It looks like they're laughing it up, enjoyable. But again, I bring it back to you, my friend, as the master of passive aggressiveness. The passive aggressive meter is going up again, even when it doesn't really have to, Joe. But damn, LeBron keeps on trying.
Well, and reading the room was one of the more feminine pictures I've seen in a while. The grown-ass men crossing their legs like they're gonna pull out a Virginia Slim and talk about what department store they're gonna go shopping in. Once I got past that look, I then just swiped left on my phone because I was getting sick to my stomach looking at it. And that was pretty much the basis of my opinion on what was going on in that picture. I think we give LeBron James too much credit for being this covert ops, Call of Duty going into thing type guy. I really do.
Well, Call of Duty, he leaves up to his son.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned Call of Duty, considering that there's a correlation there. So it's irrelevant what's going on that boat. What is relevant is the real owners. The real owners. When I say real owners, I'm talking about majority owners, not figurehead owners, not minority owners, are already coming. And it doesn't matter what visuals we see. It doesn't matter what manipulations that might be working underneath. It means nothing in 10 months. Unless the Lakers win a championship.
But you notice it came around the time, though. It came around the time, Joe, that Luka announced he was coming back to the United States for his New York City, Chicago, LA tour. Convenient timing? No?
It's okay. You want me to go deep on this?
Let's go. We've got at least a half hour.
Sharon here?
Sharon's not here.
Sharon, are you here? I'll give you 10 seconds to show yourself.
I have not seen her.
We're through the looking glass.
This is going to be a double whammy. This is going to be a double whammy. It's not only going to be a LeBron. It could be a LeBron slap, but it's also going to be a gender slap.
Oh, here we go.
There's some smoke there, but there's a lot of fire.
So
can't wait till YouTube cancels me.
One of the reasons why it's difficult for, I'm not going to mention work. I'm just going to mention in a personal environment. The reason why it's difficult for women to have good relationships with other women,
I'm just going to hide,
is this kind of stuff. That the attention goes away, right? It goes away. The reason why I'm mentioning it that way, the reason why I'm using that comparison is because people can relate to that, Gerald. And it's not a lie. It's true. Okay? It's very difficult. I've seen it. There's too much competition. There's too much subconscious or conscious jealousy. So if indeed there is that going on, and I'm not saying it is, I'm going by what you said. So this is your fault. If indeed that is what's going on, if that's what is going on, it's all the more reason why this fiasco needs to end. Instincts, baby. Follow your instincts. Human instincts is an amazing thing. It's not just women with intuition. Men have it too. Men have the instinct. It's just intuition's a word that's been stamped on with women, which they do have, by the way. Women have good intuition. They have to, because they have to deal with a lot of, and this is a compliment to women, of course. I'm not going to end it in a bad note here. Women have to deal with a lot more interruptions, especially if they look good, especially if they come off nice, because there's a lot of people out there that like that It's just how the world works. It's hard for them to be someone like me, someone who isn't that attractive, someone who
nice
or not nice and already looks like has a demeanor that says just stay where you are and I'll be over here. And I know that I'm fortunate there. I use it as the first discussion and why I got lucky being how I am is I've been able to avoid a lot of problems just being me, just naturally. So LeBron, and tell me based off what I said a few moments ago about how that picture looked. Tell me that that's not what's going on. I mean, come on, grown-ass men looking like that. It's a grown-ass men sitting there like this.
Well, some people haven't seen the photo, so maybe
what kind of grown-ass man sits like this? Seriously.
I'll show it to you in
men
a
don't
sec.
sit. They're not supposed to sit like that. Men are supposed to sit like this.
Well, LeBron wasn't crossing his legs.
He looked like he was laying.
If I'm not mistaken, Gerald.
No, it's okay. I'll give. But see, I'm not a big. I don't
see,
like.
He didn't. He wasn't Buffalo Billing it, but he did have. Yeah. He's almost. He's almost. Sorry,
I know they're on a boat, but I'm not a big fan of shoeless men.
No, you have to wear. Yeah, you have to wear at least socks.
Please.
Yes. No.
Wear some shoes. Those shoes without socks, if you can, please.
You can't wear sandals?
Okay, wear sandals.
I mean, he's out there. They're out there on the beach.
I think it's reasonable not to want to smell another person's feet.
I don't want to see it.
Okay.
I don't want to see it. That's it. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, when I go to Hawaii, I'm sorry, I don't like wearing my tennis shoes. I like wearing sandals because I'm out in the beach area.
No. Well, okay. Here, let me.
Know how I feel about.
I wish they had just moved.
You know how I feel about feet.
You can do that. Okay. I would rather if the camera went up a little bit.
Okay. Joe is catching on. That's the first one he has got on.
But let me go to you, Sean. On
you know how I feel about feet.
I know what you're talking about.
For your thoughts on this here in a second with Nikola Jokic, who, by the way, before we even get started, again, guys, as I told you guys a couple weeks ago with this, Nikola Jokic would have to turn down an extension offer next summer, which would be $80 million more than what he would have been offered this summer, which, as Sean said, he just didn't want to even talk about. $80 million more he is going to be offered next summer for an extension. So if he turns down that one, guys, then start talking about Jokic to the Lakers. But for now, it would be more likely LeBron to the Lakers. And speaking of Nikola Jokic, Sean, isn't it funny how excited he was for his horse to win a race? Infinitely more excited than for him to win an NBA championship.
Yeah. But I'll give it up to him. He's been around horses his whole life, though, Gerald. The biography. So I mean that it's always thrilling when you win. And especially when it's your horse.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, he was ecstatic, all right. But yeah, they showed the picture.
I bet the show.
Oh, but they side by side pictures of him winning as a horse owner and him winning as a MVP of the finals trophy owner and an NBA championship owner.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, all right. Well, give it. Look, Joe.
I know his passion lies somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. It does. Like, have you? Okay, so. Couple things since Joe went off on some, I'll go off on something else too. So for a couple summers, I worked at a steel plant, Gerald, when I was in high school during the summer. And there were a lot of Yugoslavian and Serbian men that you work with. Do you know what they all have in common, Gerald?
No.
They all have giant skulls. all of them, and they're very I would say like introverted people. So it's hard to get a lot of emotion out of Nikola Jokic, especially like within the publicly within the NBA. I don't think he particularly likes the attention that he gets. He reminds me a lot of Larry Joe Bird when he does interviews. It's
Thank
like,
God you weren't around summer league this summer with Nikola Jokic's brother walking around at it's like 6'9", yeah, huge guy, yeah, muscle guy, yeah, he's Good thing you weren't around seeing
Gerald, in hindsight, what were to ask the Morris brothers, what the fuck were you guys thinking?
Oh yeah, don't get me started on the Morris brothers after. Okay,
what were you
word
guys
to the
thinking?
wise back on the betting thing, Magic. For right, you're going off another tangent, Joe and Magic. When you're in Las Vegas and you're given a marker, here's a tip: pay the marker because the casinos don't forget. As Marcus Morris is finding out right now. Yeah, he was arrested in Florida for what they thought was like a bad check. No, it's because Las Vegas and the state of Nevada put a warrant out for his arrest because if you don't pay back your marker that they give you, guess what? That is like you writing a bad check. So there you go.
That's a good screenshot there, Gerald.
There you go.
When you said marker, your face went into the camera. You should pause that and put it on your profile.
No, thank you. I'll stick to your bug eyes with Nerlens Noel. I like that better on our profile right there. So
but yeah, I mean, just from that standpoint, Gerald. I mean, all Jokic is his basketball player. You want to know, like, unless he's at a horse race, that's his kind of personality. What you see is what you get, and at this point in time, Gerald. I mean, it's still really speculative, but I just don't see him leaving the Denver Nuggets. I've got a lot of skepticism about him leaving that franchise.
Next year, he turns down that extension. Let's have that conversation. But until then, guys, just don't even waste your breath on it. And speaking of the Morris twins, did they still share the account? They share a lawyer because the lawyer, that spoke for Marcus, worked for both Morris twins. Do they still share an account together?
I'm pretty sure they do.
If I'm Markeith, I'm going, what the hell?
Well, how you doing? Yeah, what are you doing,
$1,200 marker. Oh my god, that just crazy. Again, note to self: don't go away on your markers. Pay your markers in Vegas. But Joe, bringing it back home again with LeBron sending the passive aggressive stuff. However you want to say he flexed his leg or crossed his legs or didn't cross their legs in the south of France. He was working out today. Obviously, hopefully motivated by what he saw from his teammate, Luka. But overall, getting back to close out the show, what do you think the sign, seeing Luka in such prime shape, being advertised all over the place, again, to your, I guess, disappointment because you wanted that saved for training camp. What do you think that says to the rest of the team? And what do you think is the message Luka should be saying or could be saying to the Lakers right now?
I think what it does say, and we would have seen it when he played with Slovenia. So I'm not all in on how he should have done it. I think we would have already seen it, which is fine. If he wants to publicize it and maybe reassure everybody, hey, look, I got this. Here's what I've been doing. And these
health certainly helped in that matter.
These fitness magazines I think pay good money for you to advertise. There's a huge fitness market out there that are obsessed with going online and looking at people transform and do two things. Number one, say that they're on gear. That's like number one. It doesn't matter what you do; they're on gear. Everybody's on steroids, and it's usually an excuse for them not to do it. So they just get on just to say, "Oh, he's on juice," or "He cheated," blah blah blah. And then the other is those who actually are doing it. So it's a big market. It's a big underground market. As far as how it's going to matter for the Lakers, I'm looking at this strictly in a selfish Laker way. and knowing that when you take, let's say conservatively, he dropped 25 pounds. Sean, would you say he dropped about 25 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to extrapolate that, you're talking about how many? You're talking about nearly 100. This number always changes whenever I research it, so I'm just going to stick to one number. It's essentially 100 pounds of pressure off his knees and lower legs. That's a lot of weight. That's a hell of a lot of weight that you're not going to have to, go up and down on a hardwood floor 82 games a year in the NBA. That hardwood floor in the NBA is much harder than the high school gym that you play at when you go to the 24-hour fitness.
Well, and not only that, Joe. Think about this, right? Uneven ground when you're walking, you get that shock. There's a shock when your foot steps down on uneven ground. Imagine having that on a basketball court.
And even when you're on a step mill, some call it a stairmaster, but the revolving step mill. If I go on that too much, my right knee tends to get a little sore every now and then. That's low impact level 3 going about 30 minutes.
It improves everything. Improves your posture.
Yes. So from a rejuvenation standpoint, he's not going to have to worry about recovery as much because the weight is off, and of course abuse on those joints. And this calf thing, not a lot of people have talked about this. That's a scary word now. Most of these Achilles tears always start in the calf, it seems. Halliburton, Durant, all these guys have that. And for all we know, probably Kobe. Kobe used to put the cover on him. Remember, he put the cover on his calf, the one that he tore. Why? Probably because his calf was always sore on that area, needed it tight.
So, well, not only that, Joe. A lot of people don't know this, but there's a pump system in your calf. You only have 2 pump systems in your body: your heart and your calf. And blood flow is extremely important for both.
It's not a coincidence that the calf looks like a heart when you develop it, right?
Yes.
It is promising because imagine Luka not in shape and still able to drop. What did he drop as a Laker? 27 points? The 3 months he played?
I think it was 27 overall.
It was, but at one point it was 33.
Okay, so
it tailed off.
So 30, let's round it up to 30. This man dropped 30 points, mentally shattered, just bought a $50 million home.
He averaged 28 as a Laker.
Just bought a $15 million home in which he thought he was going to live in for the next probably 10 years at the very least, and had to reroute to LA. And as much as I love the Lakers, LA versus Dallas are 2 different worlds, guys. LA used to be kind of, but lately it hasn't. So now he has to deal with that. And I know he can go to the rich areas, which aren't as bad, but we all saw what happened to that place not too long ago. So that's a whole thing. I'm not going to get into that story. But the thing here is he has made an announcement to the NBA, to the Lakers, that I am coming into this season in shape, better shape than I've ever seen him, by the way. I didn't even see him like this his rookie year. If this is where his mind is, God help you, NBA, because this guy's going to slaughter you.
Just imagine, Joe and Sean, if he has another season like 23-24 where he averaged 34 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds.
I would not be surprised if he ends up being the first 30-10-10 player.
And as Gerald said, don't please be completely and utterly dismissive of still photographs of him going up for a dunk and saying, "Oh, that 42-inch vertical isn't far off." He's not Derek Jones Jr. He never was. He never will be. But he's got the mid-range of SGA, and he's got the bounce of Derek Jones Jr., and he can rebound like Kevin Love. Like, he's Luka Doncic.
And he's not even close. anywhere close to 44 or 42. Michael Jordan was 48, and we all saw where he would jump.
Yeah, the article incorrectly stated in an earlier version of it that he did 42.
I think LeBron is 45.
Yes.
He never participated in the
prime?
combine.
Yeah, I don't even remember him participating at the combine.
They had to correct their statement on that, but
that was Chat GPT.
It's just like these guys who go on speaking of the fitness that are saying that they were at 1% body fat. There's no such thing as 1% body fat.
What?
The only realistic number that you could probably get to is maybe 3.
3, yeah, 3 to 5, yeah.
You're basically killing yourself, and you're doing a show, and you have to have the genetics, and you have to have this and this and this and this. I could never. My genetics would never allow me to get to 3% body fat. I could maybe get to 6 or 5. I would say. Probably 5 or 6, but
yeah, it's funny because some other outlets like the Sporting News, man, remember when the Sporting News was actually good way back when in the day?
Mm-hmm.
They are still got it posted on their site, an article feeding off this men's health about the 42-inch vertical. They created a whole story on that.
And look, they were talking about it, so they got us. So they by lying, by clickbaiting, we got clickbaited. This is why I try to avoid these things.
I was just seeing who is posting the 42-inch vertical.
Yeah, I woke up a friend before I even saw it on our WhatsApp. A friend sent it to me. I looked at 42-inch vertical. I just could swale a no.
It says his vertical is higher.
Why'd you throw it away?
I don't know what it's. Nobody. I forget. A NBA combine.
I make you some enchiladas.
Thank you.
All right. With that, though, it is the Lakers Fast Break. I truly appreciate you joining us. And again,
you're so right about that. It's hilarious.
Luka's headed to Chicago. So if you're in the Chicago area, go ahead and see him with his new 23s.
What the hell am I talking about?
I try to ignore you guys sometimes. Just trying to finish up here. Sometimes if I try to parlay and delve like you guys deep down the rabbit hole with you guys.
You're not gambling too, are you, Gerald?
No. That's I lived in Las Vegas too long. I have seen too many people destroyed by gambling. I've told you the story on the air. One big one was where we couldn't find a work associate because we all went out partying to downtown at Fremont Street, and then we all at the end of the night, hey, all right, yeah, have a good one, guys. 3 days later, his wife called our work asking if he was there, if we had seen him. So I went back down, me and someone else. We went back downtown, and we saw him still in the same clothes he was wearing 3 days ago, still gambling right there at Union Plaza. So there you go. It can take you over. I have seen it. I have seen it in the sports books. I've seen it at the casinos. I've seen it in my former casino life as far as working in the casinos. I have seen how it takes over people for hours and hours on end, and they don't win anything. And it's just sad. It's just absolutely sad. Please, if you have an issue out there, in all seriousness, call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's actually a real phone number. They're actually there to help you if you have a problem. So there you go. That's our PSA for the day. Joe, I'm giving a serious PSA, and Joe's giving like the evil look of the devil. There you go. There you go. But it is.
I don't have gambling problems. I make money. I don't lose money.
You gamble showing up on the show every time out, so that's a gamble in and of itself.
Gamble, I keep winning.
To quote Omar Little from The Wire, money ain't got owners, got spenders.
SB, yes. Oh, heck, yes. There have been lots of people that have committed suicide over their gambling debts. Oh yeah, or gambling issues. Absolutely. Yeah, in this town, yeah, absolutely.
That's why they don't have balconies in Vegas, right?
There's $1 par.
As we were talking about, the sickness doesn't necessarily lie in the act. it's the cause and effect of what Joe was talking about.
Absolutely.
Having your parents bail you out, or your kid wanted to go to UNLV or UCLA, Gerald, and now because you lost 200 grand.
I've seen people lose homes in this town because of gambling issues. I've seen people destroy their bank accounts, credit. People have asked me for money because I know that they were gambling. I've seen them tear away their jobs and their lives because they would go. We used to have the store manager used to piss me off all the time because I knew he was down the street at Palace Station gambling. We knew he was at Palace Station gambling. It pissed me off to no end. We're all busting our ass, and he was down. It just pissed me off. Don't get me started. This town teaches you a lot if you see it the way I see it, but I'll leave it at that. But again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Joe Sorrell, please go ahead and check him out today on his playback channel. Simblades and of course the Joe Sorrell YouTube channel, and of course Corrupt on Steam. And Magic Man Sean Grice, always great to have him here, the legend himself. We were going to say that we're going to have a special show coming up this week. Well, we're going to have to delay it a little bit. Joe wants the right, as he always likes to say it, production value for his show, and I agree with him on that. I thought he brought up a good idea in regards to what he wants to do, so I will wait for him to do that. And then Magic Man will be a part of that, and hopefully John Costa as well when we go ahead and do that. But we will have more shows this week. I'm not sure how I'm going to lay it out yet. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday here in the off season or something like that. Just again, overloading you guys with the same topics. If they're not fresh, is redundant, and it just, you guys get bored and we get bored talking about it. So we always want the insults and the comedy to be fresh on the show, especially when they're about each other. And I'll leave it at that. But again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Joe is Googling someone. I don't know. Thank God it's not me. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. So for Joe Sorrell, Magic Man Sean Grice, any last words, guys? Before we end on that? No.
Last words.
Okay, there you go. All right, ask a smart question, get a smart ass answer. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. So for Joe Sorrell and Magic Man Sean Grice, it's me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. We'll be back next time, right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast.
Animal crackers, underrated snack.
Yay!
I still
A
not understanding
subscriber!
that Laker bag though. What is that?
Thank you for subscribing.